Week 2 in CIT 15. So in the coming weeks, you'll probably see me record in the classroom, but I've decided to record in my office, which is where I'm at right now. So good to know. And by the way, start taking notes now. So remember that whole process. Go to Google Drive, shared with Rio, open your classwork. So heading 1, week 2, boom, Rio's office. Let's start there. So BE, Business Education 113, is my office location. So what I like to do is say, and I say this a lot, or I don't say it a lot, I try to say this as much as I can. You know, my office is open for you. I'm really here for you. So please let me do my job and come see me when you need something. So let's turn to the screen and let me show you more specifically about how to find me during my office hours. So in our course here, if you come down to the syllabus, okay, so in the syllabus, is that where it's at? Yeah, it's in the syllabus. Took me a minute there. Past in the actual document, right? Remember it's embedded or it's linked, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the linked one. I provide a link into my Google Doc, which is my calendar. So what you can see is how often my office hours, right? So they're Monday through Thursday at noon. So noon to almost 1. And then on Friday, and I'll need to modify this as a virtual office hour. So what that means is I may not be on campus, but I'm grading, but I'm available for questions. But do know, and put this in your notes, right? So we have due dates Monday night and Thursday night. So I grade every day, but specifically on those mornings I get up and grade. So here's my the way I handle this is the items are due the night before. As long as they're, I think I said this already, as long as they're there when I get up to grade, then they're not late. Okay. So first, I wanted to cover that, right? So just to be clear about where to find me and how to find me. And if you don't know where business education is, look at there's a map on Fresno City College for that, so you can check that out. So I have several topics I want to go over today. We'll see if I can get in 1 or 2 videos, but I try to keep them around 15 minutes. So let's see how well I do. All right, so topics for this part is class chat. So class chat's really something important, and my students have told me in the past they really like that I offer up this feature. So what I'm going to show you, and we're going to use Google Plus Hangouts. Okay, so I'll show you and I'll show you how you can get in. Okay, so turning to back to my screen, and I'm going to turn now to my Gmail, my inbox. I've already created the group. And this is what it looks like. Now I have my Gmail set up so that it shows my chat window because as you see, I use it a lot. I talk to people all over the world, which is really cool. So what I'm going to do is give you a link, okay? And I'm going to show you, you don't have to know where this is at because I'm going to provide this link right here in Canvas. I'll probably provide it somewhere, probably up in the home right here. I'll probably provide something showing, get into class chat. So I just copied that link and you will click on it. So I'm going to move over to my student account. I'm going to show you how this works. So now that I'm in here, there's a couple ways I could do this. One thing is once you're logged into Gmail, I don't know why I Gmailed that, but so you could go to hangouts.google.com. Okay, so that's a web-based interface for that. What I like about this is it shows up on my mobile devices. It shows up anywhere really I have the app and I want to have it. So you can have it on the mobile device, desktop, wherever. So what I'm going to do is once I'm in here, I'm just going to, and you could do this, is paste in, oh, my bad. I'm going to paste in because you'll be clicking on it, that link. So once you do that, you'll choose the account. I happen to have just multiple accounts here show up. So then what happens is you get that chat, right? So then, and it's really a little hard to see because my screen's off. There we go. So in here, you would just say, hello, class, right? So that's you talking, right? So the thing I'll show you before I move over and show you what it looks like too is I want you to know you can also turn off these notifications to where if they get to be a little too distractive or what we call noisy, that you can do that. So I'm going to come back over here and show you, right? So in here, so then this is immediate, right? So the thing that you can know is that this is not necessarily you to me directly. This is you to everyone enrolled in the Hangout. Now, Hangouts are not required. Okay, they are optional, but for students, I think it's a really nice benefit to be able to have this as a way to get support and more immediate support from not just me if I'm available, but from your classmates. Okay, so in your notes, Google Hangout optional, I will provide a link so that you will have that. Okay, so that topic. So my IT lab. So we're moving into week 2. So your first my IT lab item will be due. So it's time for us to take a little deeper dive into my IT lab. And I've talked about some of this already, right? Making sure you have your accounts that already set up. I'll just walk you through a little more of that, and then again, this is just really, I need to make sure we've emphasized this enough, is that you have to get this purchased. There is a temporary access you can get for 14 days, but even if you do that, which is fine to give you a little more time, you still have to convert that into a paid account before September 2nd. Really, really important. There's training and assessments, and I've showed you that in the first video. And students with Macs, I've been told that this version that is out has been updated to be more, and I don't want to say compatible, but yeah, it works better with Mac. So we'll see how that goes. One suggestion I had from a student in a prior semester is get a mouse, to get a regular mouse and a keyboard. And a regular mouse on a keyboard works great on for a Mac doing the simulations because you're simulating Office 2013. Okay, so moving back here in here, and I showed you this before, but I've provided here, and it's really important for you to get into the right section, right? So this section, which is 64, is the online. So for online students, you need to click here to see the details. For face-to-face, you'll click here. Okay, so when you're in here, and I'll just pull up this document, I already have it linked. This gives you the step-by-step you need to know for getting into that account. So that is ultimately ultra important, is for you to have that. Now you can also grab these IDs over here, right? So I could also grab one of these IDs over here as well to copy and paste that. And then you would go into my IT lab and then you would sign in. I think this is one I haven't signed in for. Oh, sorry, no, I can't sign in yet. We're doing the register process. So this is where your email, your course ID that I just copied, and if you have an access code, if you bought it in the bookstore, you would have that. Otherwise, you're using a credit card. So go ahead and register now. And then what you'll do is cut and paste, again, the appropriate one for online or face-to-face. Right? And so I'm going to just go ahead, because I happen to have an account already set up for me as a student, so I can show you this. Hopefully it's not the one I registered for already. They're going to tell me here in a second if it is, but it'll take a few minutes. Now this process will be just a little different if you're buying it online, but the process concept is the same, right? So where I'm about to select for this particular login how I'm going to purchase it, you would then just pay at that particular point. Okay, so there we go, we're all done. We'll go ahead and go to the course. Oh, it bypassed that. Okay, so here's what happened, is because I had done this with the other course already, what we just didn't see was the step where you actually get the choice. So it'll be access code purchase, or down at the bottom it'll show temporary access. And you can see here I had done this before. So just know that and by the way, if you read this, and it's good to read this in detail, it actually talks about the different ways you can do that. So for purchasing, okay, so I'm back at here. Oh, wrong one. Okay, so now that you're in there, you go ahead and get in. Make sure again you convert it based on that timeline. So the thing I'd like you to know before we get in here is I've also when you're doing my IT lab, one really important thing is making sure your system is ready to go. Which, by the way, just to reconnect, you are taking notes, right, on some of these really important topics, because this is another one, is that they talk about all the browsers, right? They talk about knowing your operating system, which, by the way, our this week's assignment will cover some of that, so that's good to know. And then it talks about the different browsers based on which one are compatible. And down at the bottom, probably one of the most important things students will run into in the beginning is enabling pop-ups. And so if you click on this, it shows you, and I will provide these links, but these links are on the publisher site, is for these, it shows you how to find for each of the major browsers, how to find your pop-up blocker and how to allow the My IT Lab to be not blocked. Because what will happen is you'll click on something. So let me just show you. I keep going back to the wrong one. So in the course, so now back at the course, here's what will happen. Here's how you'll know that you're having a pop-up block or issue. And it's very subtle, so just, pay attention. So our first item is Word, right? And so you have a training. The trainings are not required, but I'm going to talk about in a moment why you'd want to do them, but you generally want to do them so that you do well on the assessment, okay? If you're somebody that feels like you know Word really well, then you can go in there and do it without the training. But again, I don't recommend it. So I'm going to come in here, and I have a feeling this is not going to block it, right? And here's what I mean. If you click on this and you don't see this window, this next window that I'm looking at, that means your pop-up blocker blocked that. Now, how would you know that? While this is still coming up, if you look up here in the address bar, you'll see a message that says pop-up blocked. And then generally what you can do is just click on there and it'll allow it, okay? So just FYI, if that's what you see, that's what happened. Right. So now I'm actually in, I think, the assessment, right? So I'm in the assessment. And then you can come in here and view, and sometimes there's several steps you have to take to get all the way to the end. So just know that it's not just one step, so it's several, right? So they want us to get over here, go into Word, right? So I can click into Word. Then they want us to begin a blank document, insert. So just know that there's several of these, okay? But I'm not going to go through them because that's not the intent of this video. I'm just going to go do this. So the other thing is you can save this for later, right? And I want you to see for every question you have 10 attempts. So you have 3 attempts at the whole thing. So if you do it once all the way through and you miss some, you can go back. But each question, then you have 10 attempts at each question. So in your notes, 3 attempts for the whole thing, and then each question within the 3 times you could take it, but each question can be attempted 3 times. And then you can always go back and see which ones, if you skipped over, I don't think you can skip over, but you can just see if you selected the save save for later, and then you can see where you ended up, okay? And it will tell you in progress. Okay, so really important to get that done. And then also, and this will be something really good to know, is that right here on week 2, I have a short video to show you how to report your scores, because what you'll be doing is, now that you know how to do a print screen, which you will be using this week, you will then use that to create a new document in your shared with Rio called My IT Lab, and I'll show you how to take those print screens and put it into that doc. And again, if you've shared, which most of you have, this shared with Rio, all you have to do is give me a link to that document. Okay? All right. I know that was relatively quick, but I hope that gave you that feeling of what you need to do. So let's see how we're doing on time here. Okay, so I think what I'll do is pick this up on the next video and we'll talk about part 2.